The Avengers radio series, a cultural phenomenon in South Africa back in the 1970s. South Africa was a country with no national television service. It wasn't until 1976 that the country would get its first taste of television broadcasts. But before that, radio was the primary medium of entertainment and information for the masses. This was the context when The Avengers, a British spy-fi series, made its debut on South African radio and became a cultural phenomenon. The Avengers was a British television series that originally aired from 1961 to 1969. The show revolved around the adventures of John Steed, a suave and sophisticated secret agent, and his various female associates. The series was a unique blend of traditional spy thriller elements with science fiction and fantasy, which set it apart from other shows of its time. While the series was hugely popular in the UK and had also made a significant impact in the American markets, being one of the rare British series given a network transmission slot, it was virtually unknown in South Africa. This was primarily due to the lack of a national television service in the country until 1976. However, as a film series, The Avengers was able to gain some exposure in South Africa through film rentals. But it was the launch of the radio series that truly brought The Avengers to the masses in South Africa. Come and listen at www.myclassicradio.net. The Black Museum. Horror and mystery based on Scotland Yard's collection, Orson Welles was both host and narrator for stories of horror and mystery based on Scotland Yard's collection of murder weapons and various ordinary objects once associated with historical true crime cases. Walking through the museum, Welles would pause at one of the exhibits, and his description of an artifact served as a device to lead into a wryly narrated dramatized tale of a brutal murder or a vicious crime. In the United States, the series aired on the Mutual Network between January 1 and December 30, 1952. Beginning May 7, 1953, it was also broadcast over Radio Luxembourg, sponsored by the cleaning products Dreft and Miro. Since the BBC carried no commercials, Radio Luxembourg aired sponsored programs at night to England. In the United States, a program of similar scope, using many of the same picked cases as the Black Museum, and nearly mirroring its broadcast run, was broadcast by NBC called Whitehall 1212. The two shows were different in the respect that while Whitehall 1212 told the story of a case entirely from the point of view of the police starting from the crime scene, the Black Museum was more heavily dramatized and played out scenes of the actual murders and included scenes from the criminal's point of view. Come and listen at www.myclassicradio.net.
Well, hello. Come right in. Oh, George, we've got company, and they're all in uniform.
This is Bill Goodwin, inviting all you servicemen and women to enjoy another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen, our tenor Jimmy Cash, and Felix Mills and his orchestra. And now, meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Well, now that Mr. Burns is running for political office, Mrs. Burns is more proud of him than ever. And here she is, feeding her little candidate his breakfast.
Would the second assistant substitute city councilman from the 3rd District like another piece of toast?
No, thanks.
Would the second assistant substitute city councilman from the 3rd District like another cup of coffee?
I don't believe so.
Would the second assistant substitute
Gracie,
city councilman...
stop calling me.
Well, you may as well get used to it, George. After the election, everyone will call you that.
They will not. I want people to call me what they've always called me.
Even my mother?
Well, in her case, I'll make an exception. And anyway, I'm not elected yet. Gordon Cates may win, you know.
Oh, don't make me laugh. Even the morning paper says that Gordon Cates has a very slim chance.
Really?
Well, not in those words, but that's all he could have. It says right here, George Burns has a fat chance.
Oh, fine.
Now, if you've finished your breakfast here are your appointments for the day.
My appointment?
Sure. That's all big politicians. Every minute of your day is just crammed with important topics of things. I've written them out for you, entitled it, My Day.
I can't read the scribbling.
Well, that's because I had to get on a bus to write it. It wouldn't be a real My Day if it were written at home.
I guess so.
Well, I'll read to you, darling. Now, here's today's schedule. 8 a.m. breakfast. 8:30 a.m. interview with newspaper man.
Really? Which paper?
The Times. He wants us to renew our subscription.
Oh.
9 to 9:30 a.m. discussion of world affairs with Bo Carter and H.C. Cossenborn. 9:30 turn off the radio and leave the office.
Let me see that schedule. Hey, I better dress up today. 12 o'clock, luncheon with Mayor at City Hall.
Mayor? Let me see that. Oh, that's Meyer.
Oh, Meyer.
He runs the lunch counter at City Hall. It's a good man to know, George.
Oh, yes, valuable.
Now, let me read it to you. 1:30, read fan mail. 1:30 and a half, answer it. 1:31, newsreel pictures.
Newsreel pictures?
Yeah, and don't be late. There's a wonderful march of time. And then at 2:30...
Look, I don't want to hear anymore.
Oh, that must be the postman. He's been taking a poll of the neighbors to see who's going to vote for you and who's going to vote for Gordon Tate. Excuse me, dear.
Good morning, Mrs. Burns.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Postman. Did you complete your poll?
Yes, ma'am. I interviewed 100 people.
Oh, and how many are voting for Mr. Burns?
2.
Two?
Well, I presume you and your husband are voting for him.
Oh, but Mr. Postman, surely you'll vote for my husband.
I'd like to, but I have to do what the party tells me.
Oh, which party?
Party I'm married to. That's my wife, Mame. She likes Mr. Tate because he's fair and square.
Well, George is fair. He's so square his hat wears out at the corners.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to vote for your husband, but as Mame goes, so goes me. Well, good night, Mrs. Burns. Remember, keep smiling.
Oh, this is awful. If George finds out, his sensitive little heart will be broken.
Well, what did the postman say, Gracie? How did the poll come out?
What, dear?
Am I out in front?
Yeah, a little. But exercise will take that off.
I mean the survey, the vote. How do Kate and I stand?
Well, he's just he's a bit ahead of you.
Oh, good. I like a close race. What's the score?
98 to nothing.
98 to nothing? I might as well give up.
Oh, George, don't say that. This is like a horse race, and it's just started. Gordon Tate may be the horse out in front now. He may look back and think you're just an old plug. But when you cross the finish line, he'll be behind you, and then he'll see the real George Burns.
Thanks, dear.
Oh, come in.
Good morning, folks. Well, I'm back.
Oh, Mrs. Bundy, look, George, our cleaning woman is back in town.
Let's make her go and get dressed and go to the office.
What's the matter with you, Mr. Burns?
Oh, George is running for councilman in the coming election, but nobody's going to vote for him. The postman took a poll around the neighborhood.
Well, if he expected to get votes for your husband, he should have taken a bat around the neighborhood.
You were out of town, Mrs. Bundy.
Why, you... Oh, now,
I
Mrs.
know.
Bundy, George, please, don't cry.
Well, I'll see you later.
Oh, poor George. It looks like Gordon Tate will get every vote.
Gordon Tate? Is he running against Mr. Burns?
Yeah. Well, you better start cleaning, Mrs. Bundy. Here's the broom.
I'll bet I know one person who won't vote for Gordon Tate. Who? That movie actor, Ray Milland. I clean house for him, you know.
Oh, Ray Milland?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's cute.
You're telling me?
You know, the women in our club voted Mr. Milan their favorite give-up boy.
Give-up boy?
Uh-huh. He's the boy they'd most likely give up their husband for. But, what about him? Why won't he vote for Gordon Tate?
Oh, it's so exciting. You see, it's no use. I just can't talk while I'm working.
Well, here, hand me the broom.
All right. Well, you see, Mr. Tate and Mr. Milan are next-door neighbors. They despise each other.
No.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, Mrs. Bundy, does Gordon Tate really have a lot of sex appeal?
Does he? If you ask me, that's one reason Mr. Milan doesn't like him. He's jealous of Mr. Tate's figure.
Oh. But Mr. Milan seems to have a nice figure on the screen.
On the screen, yeah. Burns, I don't want to say positively. But the other day when I opened his dresser drawer, it caught on something and snapped shut.
No!
Well, goodbye, Gracie. I'm going to the office.
Oh, wait, George. Mrs. Bundy has just told me about a man who's not going to vote for Gordon Tate.
For what?
Well, if there's one, there must be more. I'll bet there are plenty of people who'd vote for you if they were only exposed to your personality.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. All you have to do is go from house to house and smoke them out. And you're just a little smudge pot who can do it.
Thanks. Hello, folks.
Oh, you're just in time to go along with us, Phil.
Oh, really? Where are you going?
On a house-to-house campaign for George.
Where you think you'll have any luck?
Oh, sure. Mrs. Bundy already knows one man who'll support him.
Well, that's a switch. A man supporting George.
Well, come on, boys. We won't rest until we show George Burns for councilman.
Gracie, I'll handle this myself. You gotta be brief and to the point. No beating around the bush.
Yeah?
Are you interested in politics?
Yeah?
Are you interested in who becomes councilman, George Burns or Gordon Cates?
Yeah?
Well, I'm George Burns.
Well, I'm Gordon Tate.
Let's go home, Gracie.
Oh, no, wait, George. Mrs. Bundy said that Ray Moran lives next door to Gordon Tate and that they don't get along. So we're bound to get a good reception here at Mr. Moran's house.
Okay. Yes?
Oh, hello, Mr. Moran. Mr. Moran, you don't want to see Gordon Tate's elected councilman, do you?
Well, I should say not. I'd rather see a moron in office.
Oh, no. You see, George, I knew he'd support you.
I'm George Burns, Mr. Moran. I'm running against Gordon Cates in the election.
Well, come in.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you really feel strongly about Mr. Tate, don't you?
You said it. Why, I'd rather vote I'd rather vote for your husband.
Well, thanks. And if I'm elected, I'll do my best. I'll clean up the city.
Tate thinks he's got so much sex appeal.
Well, if I'm elected, I'll do my best. I'll give this city a clean up.
Why, I'd rather see a baboon in office.
Well, if I'm elected, I'll do my best. I'll give the city a clean up.
Gordon Tate.
Mr. Moran, you're not listening.
Huh?
Wouldn't you like to know how I stand?
Oh, yes. That's been puzzling me ever since your wife had gone in.
Well, now, Mr. Moran, we need your help to win this election.
Well, what can I do?
Well, now, for one thing, George seems to have trouble getting the women's vote. Maybe you could give him a hint.
Well, maybe I can now. Let's see. Come here, George. Now, I'll show you how I'd ask a woman to vote for me. I'd take her hand. Here, give me a hand. I'd look into her eyes like this, and I'd say, oh, darling. Darling, I need your help. Will you vote for me?
Oh, yes, right.
Well, thank you, Mr. Moran. George had better be going now if he expects to visit every voter in this district before election.
Is that how he's trying to get votes?
Uh-huh. Is there a better way?
Why, certainly. Put him on the radio.
Oh, say, that's an idea. And television will be here any minute.
Yes, there's not a moment to lose.
Oh, this is a wonderful idea. The George Burns for Councilman program. We'll sell George over the air just like he was a liver pill. Or a rebuilt second-hand car. I'll go and get the script then.
Yeah, I know the guy who manages the local station. I'll go arrange for the time.
Well, what do I do?
Well, you're the product, George. What do products do?
Well, let's drop him in the water and listen to him says.
Never mind.
And we'll see you at the station tonight, Mr. Moran. And thanks for helping us get George elected.
I'd do anything to get even with Gordon Cates. Why, I'd rather see a weasel in office.
If I'm elected, I'll do my best.
show business, George and Gracie, Felix Mills and the orchestra, salute Eddie Cantor on his 35th anniversary in the theatrical profession. And here's Jimmy Cash to sing it for you. Jimmy?
It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found a somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, and even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be false, but they wouldn't do. For nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you, had to be you.
Several hours later, and we take you to the radio station, where the George Burns for Councilman program, written by Gracie, is about to take the air.
We're on the air in 15 seconds, folks.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Announcer.
No, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I've been an announcer for years. Yes. Be calm, very calm. Okay. Presenting the George Burns for Second Assistant Substitute City Councilman for the 3rd District program. Featuring Mrs. George Burns, Ray Milland, Felix Mills and his orchestra, and yours truly, Glenn Hall Taylor. We bring you comedy, drama, and music. But first, a word about our product, George Burns. With men who know politics is best, it's George Burns. Who's he?
Don't be fooled by imitations. The original George Burns comes in a shiny blue serge suit with padding in the shoulders.
Let's put him in office. Our slogan is, let's start, get George going.
LSGGG.
Let's start, get George going.
LSGGG.
Don't forget the name, George Burns.
Spelled backwards, it's much harder to pronounce.
Remember, his name is George Burns.
No other candidate can make that claim.
And now you'll hear the voice of George Burns himself. Thank you. If I'm elected... Lovely voice, hasn't he? Well, we're on with the show. And now we bring you an episode of your favorite radio serial, Just Plain John's Other Wife Can Be Beautiful Backstage. We take you now to the home of John and his wife, a typical, happy, wholesome American couple whose simple little problems are just like your simple little problems, or my simple little problems, or the simple little problems of the simple little family that lives in the simple little house next door.
Oh, would you like more coffee, simple little John?
Thank you, dear. Where is Bertram, our son?
He won't be here. The police arrested him for murder.
Really? Whom did he kill?
His fiancée.
Oh, too bad. They'd have made such a charming couple.
I wonder if Bertram will get the hot seat.
Yes, I wonder.
Was there any mail this morning, dear?
Only a letter from Chloe, our daughter. She's married to a soldier.
Oh, such an impulsive child. Just yesterday she married a sailor.
No. No, that was a Marine, dear. The sailor was day before yesterday.
I wonder if she'll ever settle down.
Yes, I wonder. Darling, this coffee tastes a bit peculiar.
I know. I'm afraid I made a silly mistake and filled a sugar bowl with arsenic.
Oh. Well, you really should wear glasses, dear. I wonder if you'll be able to reach the doctor before the arsenic is fatal.
Yes, I wonder.
Well, will Bertram get the hot seat? Will Chloe settle down? Will John and his wife reach a doctor in time? You'd like to know, wouldn't you? Well, if you don't vote for George Burns, we won't tell you, so there.
Naturally, before you vote them, you want to hear George Burns' record. So here he is in person to tell you about it.
Thank you. Well,
But George Burns' record speaks for itself. Let's listen as his record speaks.
G-E-O-R-G spelled George, so close for him, small or large, before he's under lock and key. G-E-O-R-G.
and now on with the show. Mystery, suspense, action. It's Crime Busters. Listen carefully as we show you how officers of the law, working step by careful steps, solve the case of the Eagle Rock bank robbery. That man is now in prison for life. Crime does not pay.
But it's no crime to vote for George Burns. Do it on election day and do it often.
And now a word from our candidate. Friends, and that word reveals his whole lovable character. On with the show! Are you tired, run down, logy? Do you have saggy shoulders and tattletale tummy? Then vote for George Burns. He's your type of man. Hey, what's going on here?
Quiet, Joe. We're on the air.
Out?
Well, okay. Just let me say hello to my friend Ray Milland, will you, George? Hi, Ray.
Hi, Bill.
Ray, I sure enjoyed that lady in the dark.
You did?
Yeah, send me another one sometime.
On with the show! We bring you now 15 minutes of uninterrupted recorded music with Ray, the night watchman. Thank you. Yes, sir. 15 minutes of solid music. No commercials, no talk about politics, just music. This number is dedicated to Hal and Jesse, who announced their engagement on the same day that George Burns announced that he would run for second assistant councilman from the 3rd District.
And also to Mr. and Mrs. Conway, prominent citizens of the 3rd District, where George Burns is running for second assistant councilman.
And to Oscar Brodney, conductor of the Cost-Down Trolley, which runs past the house of George Burns, candidate for second assistant councilman from the 3rd District.
And to Mr. and Mrs. Lewis, who recently became the parents of a baby girl, which was kissed by George Burns during his campaign for the office of second assistant councilman.
And now, back to the music. You have just heard 15 minutes of uninterrupted music, presented by Ray the Night Watchman, and sponsored by the George Burns for Councilman Committee. And now our candidate will outline his political platform.
Well, if I'm elected...
If he says, get on with the show! How does the man on the street feel about voting for George Burns? For the answer to that question, we turn you over to Gracie, our inquiring reporter.
Thank you. Beside me at the microphone is the man I found in the street. Tell me, sir. Tell me, who are you going to vote for?
Who am I going to vote for? Good old Alf Lander, that's all.
Oh, but Alfred Landon isn't running.
Isn't running? How do you like that? Leave the convention for 2 minutes and they switch candidates on you. On with the show! On with the show!
You are listening to the George Burns for Second Assistant Substitute City Councilman from the 3rd District program. And now the entire remainder of this hour will be turned over to Mr. Burns for his campaign speech.
Fellow citizens, 12 o'clock Pacific Win the Wartime. And this station now leaves the air. The George Burns for Councilman program was a paid political broadcast and did not necessarily express the views of this station. In fact, we think George Burns is a jerk. What?
And now we're signing off. This is station KGC, owned and operated by Gordon Cates. Good night.
Tonight, our young tenor, Jimmy Cash, sings the romantic ballad, Speak Low. Sing low, Jason.
Speak low when you speak love. Our summer day withers away. Too soon, speak low. When you speak love, our moment is swift, like it's adrift. We're swept apart too soon. Speak low, darling, speak low. Love is a spark lost in the dark. Too soon, I feel wherever I go that tomorrow is near, tomorrow is here, and always too soon. Time is old and love so brief. Love is your goal and time a thief. Relate, darling, relate. The curtain descends, everything ends. Too soon, I wait, darling, I wait. Will you speak low to me, speak loud to me, and so.
Here they are, George and Gracie.
Gracie, I've got a thrill for you. Next week, our guest star is going to be Lawrence Tibbett.
Lawrence Tibbett. Tibbett. He sings, doesn't he?
Oh, he's one of the greatest singers in the world.
As good as you?
Oh, honey, you can't compare me with Lawrence Tibbett. I can't hit those deep, low notes like Tibbett. He brings them right up from his diaphragm.
Where's that?
The diaphragm is right below your chest.
Oh, well, then you ought to be able to bring up the lowest notes in the world from down there where your chest is located.
Take it easy, take it easy. Don't you know it's more romantic when a dance is slow? Take it easy, take it easy. What's the good of feeling high when all the lights are low? Take your time, dance it with ease. Take your time, slow as you please. Take it easy, we've got lots of time ahead of us, the night is young. Hey, take it easy! Don't you know this music should be played instead of swung? You're not supposed to make the rumba jump. Take it easy, take it easy. If you don't like it, our romance will hit a bump. Don't you know it's time to romance when the music's sweet? You could really try to make your heart control your feet.